May I now request Mr. Kachru to please take center stage and share with us his roadmap on how Indian tourism can reach the next level. And thank you very much. Thank you.
You know, it's really great to be amongst the real masters. And when I was talking to Naveen, I was telling him, you know, let's keep more time so that we can discuss. He said, no, we need to hear perspective given by each one of us. I too am now really wondering if he had agreed with me, I would have lost out on what Deep, Patu, and now, I mean, everybody is waiting to hear Sohail because he is one person who can tell you really on your face what is right and what is not right. Naveen, I must compliment you for this initiative you have taken, and I see a full house here with social distancing. And what really excites me more is when I learned how many people are actually virtually attending it. Congratulations to you for doing it. Naveen had given us a little brief that, you know, no remorse, and we are going to talk about only positivity. Yes, we are. I was very happy to see and talk to people who were talking about way forward, which is actually the real thing. How many times can we harp on the same thing, what happened to us? Our industry was really shaken, and we didn't know what was happening. This is despite the brave front which has been put by different verticals of the industry. We have had huge losses. You are all aware. If I'm correct, revenue over 1.25 trillion, loss. World lost 120 million jobs in our industry, and India is almost 1/3 of it, over 50 million jobs. I was reading the other day, our Secretary Tourism, the ex-Secretary Tourism, Mr. Tripathi, gave that close to 50 to 55 million people directly and indirectly have lost their jobs. Somebody put it very right here. Do we really understand what we need to do? I think one of our major problems in our country is that we refuse to acknowledge what is wrong with us. Once we acknowledge what is wrong with us, you can do something. But if you say, we're doing fine, it really doesn't help at all. Non-essential travel, as most of the speakers have said, will continue to be an issue, but it will certainly not disappear. It's gradually coming back. So we have to hold on, have patience. I was fortunate enough, I don't know if I can say that now, with you know, people having different views of the government and private sector. I was fortunate enough to work on both sides. I worked for the government for many years, and I have, for the last 25 years, in the private sector. I think we in the private sector now need to understand what has happened and what are our learnings. Some of them have been absolutely radical, and we need to address the same. Some of these things would be permanent, and we have to deal with them. Like one of the speakers said a little while ago, that, you know, is it really necessary for people to travel as much in the corporate business? The miles would certainly be reduced to the minimum. Yes, it will be reduced. Non-essential travel would be impacted. From the learnings, I think what we have to ensure that how do we go about from here? What are the opportunities in this crisis? It's given us time to rebuild our sector. Problem with us is, as I said earlier, do we understand what we need to do? Jyoti Myal this morning, when somebody said that we seek an appointment with the powers that be, we're told come after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But she was clear enough to say, this may have been the history, but we don't have to accept it. We have to be a little pushy in our ways. My friend, Mr. Najib, said if he goes to visit his secretary in the state, he doesn't need to take any appointment. He goes and sees him. But the question is, who is representing, what is the task, and how pushy can we be? We need to identify what solutions are available to us. If we don't have them, we'll not get anywhere. We need to focus our energies on developing innovative synergies. And synergies will only come once we have established what our strategies are. We have to activate the agreed plans we have. Our Prime Minister, a few years back, from the Red Fort said, tourism is going to be one of the 5 pillars, one of the 4 pillars of our government, our economy. Things have started moving, but is it actually a pillar? Has something been activated to achieve that it becomes one of the key pillars for our growth? We provide 9% of the employment. 9% of the total employment comes from our industry. We provide close to 9%, 8 to 9% of our GDP is from tourism industry. Now, if we are not recognized, what do we do? Whether it's our associations, whether it's our individual business enterprises, we need to change our ways. We need to work in a more collaborative manner with the government. I mean, there are rules which have been formed 50 years back, 70 years back. I think we need to focus and have it addressed. J.B. Singh was telling me a few weeks back, they have a rule in Maharashtra where each room has to have 3 parkings. Now, if you have a hotel at the airport or city center, does it really need 3 parkings per room? The FSI rules have to change. We have to have short-term and long-term strategies. We need to, as tourism, I'll give you an example. Naveen mentioned I'm associated with Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board. Pre-COVID, we used to get close to 9 million pilgrims there every single year. And we were expecting that 2021 will be touching around 12 million people. Things changed. But we have a very active CEO there. He has started packages which are incentivizing even people from Jammu and Kashmir to go there. If somebody took a visit once in 6 months, they are trying to capture that market that they should come every 2 months. We are looking at a speedy growth. We spoke about, as a country, we're talking about cross-border or focusing on our neighborhood and getting more people to come and stay with us. In the same manner, we have accepted one fact that domestic tourism is going to be most important for all of us. If we are talking about domestic tourism, we have to talk about where you are, where is the site, what are the neighboring states, before we start looking all over the place. Unfortunately, that is not happening. We need to work as an industry with the government. If our experts think that tourism is only drawing up marketing plans, doing events, advertising, that's not what it is. I think there has to be a plan which has to be discussed between all the stakeholders, and we have to agree how to activate the plan. Please allow tourism. This is our plea. Our Hotel Association of India, along with TAI and others, IATO, other associations, were working very closely. Please allow us to propose to set up our own rules. We will come back to you for approval, but please allow us. Everybody today is talking about domestic tourism, huge potential. Yes, it's a fact. If 27 million people go out of India and travel overseas, comparison to 10 million, and in reality, you only have about 2.2 million visitors coming to India. So if you have 27 million people, and if you take only 5% of 27 million and redirect them to domestic travel, it would help. Kapil made a huge point on road trips. He made a huge point on 1.8 billion trips taking place. It's huge. But at the same time, have we realized that if we don't work together, what will happen? Mr. Najib gave an example this morning that an air ticket to come from Coimbatore or Trivandrum is now costing one way 30,000 rupees. How do you expect people to come and travel? So all that needs to be coordinated. Ladies and gentlemen, overall, the tourism sector needs to undergo an analytics transformation. Unless that happens, it's not going to be effective at all. We need proper coordination of marketing budgets, sector promotions, calendar of events, and ensure that right things are done at the right place at the right time. As I said earlier, let's take this pause in tourism and utilize it for a better plan and support the takeaways. And we all agree that we must put people, society, and community together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kachru. Thank you very much.